I'm Margaret. Welcome to Knit Pickers PEI. And this little orange beast beside me is Soleil. She's my companion today. Today's video tutorial is a quick little help if you're going to be doing the long tail cast on. It's a trick that will help you never run out of yarn. There's nothing more frustrating than if you're casting on a lot of stitches. Maybe you're knitting a sweater or a shawl, and there are all sorts of little tricks you can use when you're calculating the amount of yarn you're going to need for a long tail cast on. But there's nothing worse than getting to within the last 3 or 4 stitches of a cast on with a lot of stitches and you've run out of yarn. So this trick is a guaranteed 100% fail-safe version of how to do a long tail cast on and never run out of yarn. So let's get started, shall we? So the trick I'm talking about today to never run out of wool when doing the long tail cast on is simply to use 2 strands of yarn. Now, if you're knitting a large project and you're going to be winding up more than 1 skein of wool, then you can use 2 separate skeins for your 2 tails of wool. But if it's a smaller project with a lot of cast on stitches, you can do this same technique using only a single skein of wool. In this case, what I have done is I'm pulling 1 tail from the center and 1 tail from the outside. And then I just grab those 2 tails and I get started. So what you do is you take those 2 ends of yarn and you tie a slip knot, and you pop that slip knot onto your knitting needle. And then you start your regular long tail cast on. What you don't want to do is you don't want to count this slip knot as one of your cast on stitches. So a quick review of doing the long tail cast on: you're creating a triangle and you come under the thumb, over the forefinger, through the loop, and snug it up. So once again, under the thumb, over the forefinger, through the loop, and snug it up. So I'm going to cast on just 5 stitches. Now, obviously, if I'm casting on only 5 stitches in a project, I certainly wouldn't need to use 2 tails of yarn to do that. But this is a technique that is wonderful if you're casting on a large number of stitches and you're worried about running out of wool when you're casting on. So now I would just break off one of these tails. Now, yes, you are going to have one extra tail to weave in, but then you would just carry on knitting across. In this case, it's my 5 stitches. And there's my slip knot. I take that off and I get rid of it. And there are my 5 cast on stitches. So as I say, not necessary if you're just doing a little project like this, but if you're knitting a shawl or a sweater and you've got a lot of stitches to cast on, if you're pulling from the center and from the outside of a single skein, or if you're using 2 skeins and using the 2 tails from 2 separate skeins, either way will work. But it's a fantastic way to eliminate that horrid problem of getting near to the end of your cast on and running out of yarn. So I hope you give this a try and good luck.